important topic. So we start first. We start with Hilchos Yesodei HaTorah, meaning the laws of foundation of the Torah. Some concept are a little hard, but I mean it's like more maybe on the philosophical side. But at least we're going to get some idea. Not some idea. I think pretty solid idea of what Judaism is about. And like after we'll learn this section, so you'll see even like we're up to the halacha number 6. You see all of these many Friedmans of the world and all other people. They you see why we call them clowns, because they're act like clowns, right? They denied the foundation of the Torah, that it says like in the very beginning. Okay. All right. So and we continue with halacha number 6, and it says the knowledge of this concept is a positive commandment, as implied in Shmos 20 verse 2. I am God, your Lord. Anyone who presumes that there is another God transgresses the negative commandment, as Shmos 20 verse 3 states. You shall have no other gods before me. Okay, so meaning Hashem speaking, and denies the fundamental principle of faith, because this is a greater principle of faith upon which all depends. So meaning we're talking about principle. It's the first one, that the Hashem is the only one. He's the only one God, and He runs the world, and there is no other power that can contradict Him. So it's actually a continuation of what we said yesterday, but now we're going to go into details. Beezrat Hashem. All right, so let's do from the beginning. Now we're going to add some commentaries and explanations. So okay, so the knowledge of this concept, commentary, there is that all the points mentioned in the previous halacha, the Rambam mention, Rambam's mention of the commandments after 5 halachas is not after the first halacha alone, implies that our knowledge of God's existence must be developed and cannot be left as a general unidentified concept. So that's very interesting. So let's quickly read it. So we have continuation, the halacha number 5. So we have a clear. I'm not going to read the commentaries. We just quickly remind us. So halacha number 5 that we finished yesterday says, this entity is that God of the world and the Lord of the entire earth. And we explained what is the difference. He controls the sphere, right? And the sphere is the world, and how it like it's not the world. 9 spheres, right? As we said, we're going to learn much later. With infinite and unbound power. Okay, so meaning Him and He and nobody else. His power continues without interruptions, right? As we said about all of these planets continue spinning and all of the atoms, everything, right? Without interruption. Because the sphere is constantly revolving, okay? And it is impossible for it to revolve without being caused to revolve, right? As we said yesterday, we went a little bit about the physics. So in order for something to move, you need some external force, and it will go and be transformation of power. Okay, it is He, blessed be He, who caused it to revolve without a hand or any other corporal dimension, right? So that's and then people, some people understand, even people who claim to be not believers, they say, yeah, it's I believe in higher power. There's higher power, and they try not to use the name God, and they try to use some other like names or adjective, right, or some nouns that actually Hashem. Right, and they, of course, they try to limit Him to only to this thing, and maybe there is another power over other things, but we know it's Hashem. But what the commentary says here is very interesting. So he said, look, Rambam is saying that it's positive commandment, and starts like it's a book of laws. Right, the Mishnah Torah is a book of laws, and you start about the positive command from from halacha number 6 does not make any sense, right? Maybe he should have started with that this is positive law and then explain. And this commentary is right. It's beautiful commentary. So he comments, actually, you need the first 5 halachas to build up, right? So meaning that because many people that they skip this part for foundational understanding about God's existence, and they say, yeah, it's obvious. It is obvious until it's not obvious, and that's how people become heretics. Understand? Because they skip the basics. Base. I know the basic maybe not a good word, but base, right? Upon all rests. Right, and that's how Rambam said, and that's how we start. So we start halacha with a base. We start all of this, our halacha class, we start from the beginning, and we try to build up, and then remember what we said before, and add, and then come back, whatever we said before, and build up. That's how a person develop right their knowledge. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Many people, what I see, like they overestimate themselves. They try to jump from one topic to another topic, and they don't have any connection in between. So it's only a matter of time when they collapse. Okay, all right. So we go in the right path. All right. So quickly, just read this commentary number 18. The Rambam mention of the commandment after 5 halachas and not after the first halacha alone implies that our knowledge of God's existence must be developed, right, and cannot be left as a general identified concept. So meaning all of we have, as we always say, we have an answer to all of the concepts, all of the questions, but it must be built in the right way. Okay. So continue. Actually, the whole sentence. The knowledge of the concept is a positive commandment. Commentary. In Sefer HaMitzvos, Rambam mentioned this is the first of the positive commandments. The Sefer HaChinuch list is a mitzvah number 25. See also the notes to the list of commandments at the beginning of this halacha. Okay, so as Rambam counts mitzvahs, he's the author of Sefer HaMitzvos, right? He starts with positive commandments and then goes to negative commandments, and he groups them in a logical sense, right? Whether Sefer HaChinuch goes by the parsha, right? By the sequence as they appear in a written Torah, Chumash. Okay, so it's 1 and 25. Okay. Continue. The Rambam cites the objection. So that's actually Sefer HaChinuch. Beezrat Hashem should give us ability and right and health and everything. So my plan is after we finish this, we go to Sefer HaChinuch, Beezrat Hashem. So I start learning with somebody. We went to like. Many of them I did not finish. I never finished them, right? Maybe 2 volumes, like I am in the middle of 2nd volume, right? But we can start because we can learn a lot. So Sefer HaChinuch again, it's a counting of 613 mitzvos, of course with art scroll commentary, like priceless, because he goes in like at the end of each mitzvah, he goes all of the machlokas between our chachamim, and that's just unbelievable. Okay, so that's our agenda. Beezrat Hashem. I'm not sure when it's going to happen. It's a very long section, but right, that's our goal. Continue. All right, right, and then Ramban, he actually comments on Sefer HaMitzvos of Rambam. Right, as we said before, he counts a little different. Okay. So commentary. Continue with the commentary. Rambam cites the objective of the Baal Halachas Gidolos and other to inclusion of this commandment as one of the mitzvos, not in his Hagachas. So the inclusion of this commandment as one of the mitzvos. Okay, sorry. Not as this. Apologize. Note that in his Hagachas, the negative commandment 1 And in his contrary to commentary on the Torah, Ramban himself states states an opinion that parallels Rambam's view. Okay, so Ramban wrote a commentary on Sefer HaChino, and Bal Halachas Gedolos. It's one of the commentary. I think he was before Rambam. I think so. So like we have a major 5 or 6 or 7 works of our great rabbis who try to count 613. So nobody disputes 613, but they count a little different. So Bal Halachas Gedolos, so he actually does not count this as a first one, as a commandment. The way I understand, that's my personal explanation. So he does not see it as concrete enough. So meaning that you can describe this like mitzvah. Okay, no problem. But in his commentary to the Torah, Ramban looks like he follows Rambam's opinion. Okay, no problem. So continue. So, and what is the source? Of course, for each mitzvah we need a source. Right, and source, I am God your Lord. Okay, from Shmos. And commentaries say, though there is explicit statement of the commandment in this verse, implicit the obligation to accept God's divinity. Thus, the Mechilta compares the verse to the king's obligation to king's statement, "I will rule over you." Marcus 23a, so it's Talmud, right, states that this is one of 613 commandments. See Ramban Hagachas to the negative commandment 1. Okay, so let's try to understand. So again, this commentary on a verse, it's an explicit verse in the Torah, I am God your Lord. So I think it's from 10 Commandments, I think. So again, though there is no explicit statement of the commandment in a verse, so meaning no explicit statement of commandment, meaning you should do this and this. That's command. That's as I said before. That's what my guess. Even though it does not say here why this other rabbi that does not count as one of 613 commandments. So there is no like a commandment like what to do. Okay, which is understandable. So again, right, though there is no explicit statement of the commandment of the verse, implicit is obligation to accept God's divinity. See, that's how Rambam, right, that's why Rambam included in this account, right, obligation to accept God's divinity, meaning Hashem said, and right, and we have to accept that he's a master, he's everything, right, and Mechilta compares the king, a statement, I will rule over you. So which is good comparison. So I'm a king, right? Hello, you did not know me before. I'm a king. I'm going to rule over you. That's what it is. It's not like he's asking. It's not like he's asking the opinions. Maybe you accept me. No, it's absolutely relevant. I'm the king and I'm going to rule. So that's and you have to take into consideration when you do something. So it should not contradict the king's edicts. So meaning on a simple level, but that's how we understand this commandment, that now we have to follow Hashem's commandments, meaning Torah. Okay, continue. Anyone who presumes that there is another God from lower G, transgresses negative commandment. So meaning here we're talking about Jews. For non-Jews, it's a little different, right? So it's not, if they believe in God and somebody else, it's not always idol worshiping, not always, right? But for Jews, 100%. Right? So again, anyone who presumes that there is another God transgresses negative commandment, meaning another God, that there is some other power that can rule, and Hashem would be quiet in a sense. Okay. Right. And commentaries say in Sefer HaMitzvos, Rambam mentioned that this is the first of the negative commandment. Sefer HaChinuch list mitzvah 26. I'm not sure right. Okay, I'm not sure what parsha is it. Okay, that doesn't matter, right? So again, Rambam lists again. He lists mitzvah by logic, right? And Sefer HaChinuch is by the sequence they appear in the Torah. Okay, so meaning the first negative commandment of Rambam is what? Not to have other gods. So meaning not to have other deity. That's come from here we derive idol worshiper, but I think idol worshiper is a separate one, but he's different. All right, so right, continue. This transgression does not involve making idol. Here we go, right, and worship another god. Does not, meaning all of these are going to be separate, as we said. These acts are prohibited by their own right, but merely accepted in another entity as God. Megillat Esther, negative commandment 1. Okay. Continue. With these statements, Rambam is also laying the basis for his concept that the very thought and acceptance of another deity or a power that exists apart from God or is required by him to maintain the world, the world can constitute a violation of the prohibition against worshiping other gods. See Hilchos Yesodei chapter 1, etc. Okay, there is no need for one to perform deed of worship. Okay, so that's very priceless, this commentary. So without this commentary, it would be very hard to understand. Okay, so again, just to remind us, it's this commentary written by Chabadniks, which is, you see, he was a great, I'm sure his life or not, he's a great scholar. So he consulted many works, like just some things I don't read because because like all of these like references, but I see he consulted a lot of works. Baruch Hashem. Okay, so before we start reviewing, this commandment not to have another god, it's in general. So just accepting some other entity as a god. So to create an idol and pray to idol, two separate things. So meaning that if somebody would create an idol, right, and pray to it and ascribe some power, meaning the person right away transgresses minimum three commandments, minimum. Okay. So continue. So actually review. This transgression does not involve making an idol, so as we said, or worshiping another god. Again, it's two separate ones. But usually, I mean, not usually. Sometimes it follows, sometimes it does not follow. Sometimes a person has just these ideas. So, and these people could be secular, right? Secular, and a person ascribes power as a god to someone, to his diploma, to his bank account, to his to his job, to his rich uncle. It could be anything. So this is actually to put like instill power in his mind in somebody else. It's like making another god. Okay. Right. But idol worship and then making idol and worshiping idol, it's two separate transgressions. Right, but merely accepting it as another entity as God, right? That's right. So meaning again in the mind. So there is no, in this case, there is no actually action. That's why, right? That's why some people would not count it as a mitzvah, separate mitzvah. With these statements, Rambam is also laying the basis for his concept that very thought and acceptance of another deity or power, again, it does not have to be God, so he can call it my uncle, my rich uncle, right? Or power that exists apart from God, or is required by him, right? Or Hashem, so meaning Hashem needs every yid, right? So meaning without every yid, as these clowns say, Hashem cannot exist, right? Or this man is Friedman, right? So he did not read what other Chabadniks say. Meaning, it's not what Chabadniks say, that's what Torah says, right? So meaning, the person, as soon as he says something like that somebody, Hashem requires somebody, he already transgresses these commandments, right? Or requires by him, meaning by Hashem, to maintain the world, a constitute violation of prohibition against worshiping other gods. So as soon as person says that Hashem needs somebody, so he already in violation of this commandment. There is no need to perform any deed or action. In some cases, even in I learned it long time ago. But in some cases, the speech is going to be like count as a deed, and in some cases, the speech is not going to be counted as a deed. Right. So meaning, for example, if somebody blesses in double quotes, right, Hashem, then it is a deed, but because it's very serious. But in other cases, it's not. So we're going to see. Continue. As it says in Shmos 20 verse 3, you shall have no other gods before me. Right? And denies the fundamental principle of faith. So meaning a person who does that, so he denies the fundamental principle of faith. So let's see. Commentary number 22. In Hilchos Yesodei HaTorah 3.7, Rambam describes one who does not believe in God as a mean heretic, who does not have a portion in the world to come. It was a long time ago. I think we covered this several years ago. This Hilchos Yesodei, right? So there we said it's very interesting. So everybody who does not believe in Hashem does not have a portion in the world to come. So meaning. So what does it mean not to have a portion in the world to come? And Rambam, I think it was, I don't remember, it was Rambam or it was commentary on the Rambam, right? But it was explained there, meaning a person never going to go to Gan Eden, right? So meaning the person is going to Gehinnom forever and ever. Why? Because they were secular. They say, right? Just let me be. Let me be the way I am. It's like even the people, like the nice people and kind people and merciful people and compassionate people. In some cases, they like dogs and cats and cockroaches and all of these creatures, and it's nice, right? You don't have to, right, not to like them, but at the same time, in Hashem's eye, they're despicable human beings, right? Hashem does not, as we said last time, expect from a dog to know there is Hashem, right? But from a human being that Hashem gave him so much intellect, right, to Jews and Gentiles, that's not acceptable. Right, so meaning a person who does not believe in God does not have a share in the world to come. Very straightforward. Right, just 1 second. Let me go a little back. So it says again. So we start with this verse: you shall have no gods before me, and if this person denies fundamental principle of faith, we just commented, because it's a general principle of faith upon all which depends. So meaning if people want to learn Kabbalah, have these people contacted me about other things. I said, look, let's start, are you Jewish? Sometimes they have doubt for whatever reason, right? That doesn't matter, right? So I said, let's start with basic. Let's start from Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, right? How you wake up and how you should worship. No, I'm not doing that. So why not doing that? So yeah, the person is above it. They want to all of the esoteric concept, all of the spheres, all of these things, right? But we start the basic idea is the most fundamental idea. Without everything, without this, everything is worthless. Is a great principle that Hashem is God. He's the only one, and He's the only ruler. There is nobody but Him. So I mean, sounds very simple, and that's why like many people just skip it. They think, yeah, it's obvious. No, it's not obvious. It's not obvious. Okay.